Welcome back to Star Strong Shine Bold, the podcast where we celebrate life, purpose, and the little things that make a big difference. I'm your host, Coach Rebecca, and today we're taking a walk down memory lane. We are getting a little vintage. Let's talk about pantyhose. Yep, you heard that right. Pantyhose. When I was a little girl, getting dressed up meant three things: shiny black patent leather buckle shoes, a pretty little Sunday dress, and the cutest fold-over lace socks you've ever seen. I can still see it, the way the sun hit those shiny black shoes, the way my socks had to be just right, folded perfectly, lace turned out like a crown for my ankles. And I can hear it too, that little tap, 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 as my feet marched proudly into church or Grandma's house, thinking I was the fanciest little girl in the world. But like everything else, little girls grow up. One day, the lace socks just didn't cut it anymore. It was time for big girl tights. And then a few years later, really big girl tights. And oh my stars, I had no idea what I was doing. My mother, in her infinite wisdom, handed me this contraption. You know, one of those garter things to help hold the pantyhose in place. Bless her soul, she told me it would help keep them up. Keep them up? They were barely on. Half of my legs. Oh, bless it all. I ended up with legs that looked like the moms in the 1975 Legs TV commercial. You know, the one where the little girl at the zoo says, "Mommy, the elephant has wrinkly pantyhose just like yours." Yep, that was me. I ended up twisted, tangled, one leg longer than the other, looking like I'd lost a wrestling match with a rubber band. When I finally stood up, though, I looked in the mirror. I wore them proudly, because that's what we did. We showed up, elephant legs and all. Then came a revolution. Legs pantyhose. Oh yes, you remember the shiny plastic egg or the white egg, and sometimes they had seasonal pastel-colored eggs. The display was even a giant egg with rows of eggs sitting on it. They had different sizes, and you had to be really careful at the size that you chose. A was for petites, B was for average, and Q was queen-sized. Now picture a 105-pound teenage me, clueless, walking out with a pack of Q-size pantyhose. You know, Q for the queen. I could have made a parachute. Those pantyhose had enough room for several of my legs. I pulled them on, and there it was again. The Elephant Saga Part 2. I looked like a toddler in her mama's stockings. But then, the tides began to turn. Somewhere around the late 90s, early 2000s, the bare leg revolution hit. Suddenly, the world decided that the pantyhose were out, and the glowing tan legs were in. Magazines screamed, "Go bare!" Fashion shows tossed the nylons aside. And the rest of us? We stood in the self-tanner aisle holding bottles of orange goo, wondering if we'd end up streaked or chic. And just as soon as everyone mastered the tan, the world flipped again. Stay pale, protect your skin, SPF 100. It was exhausting to keep up. But through every trend, one thing stayed constant. That quiet confidence that comes when you know who you are, no matter what's in. Fast forward to now. I'm 57. I've lived through lace socks, garter belts, legs, eggs, and every trend in between. Just a few months ago, I was headed to a formal funeral for a United States Marine. Black dress, pearls, classic pumps, and yes, pantyhose. I found them on the clearance rack at the Walgreens. 75 cents a pair. I dusted off the box, made sure I had the right size. I took them home, I slipped them on, and looked in the mirror. And there she was, a well-dressed, confident woman who's walked through a lot of life and still stands tall. Pantyhose take on a different meaning for me now. Back then, they were about style, about polish. Today, they're also about support, literally and figuratively. Because as we grow older, or at least for me, my skin has softened, my muscles have shifted, and life has left stories written across my legs. And those legs, they gently hold everything in place. A little hug for these seasoned legs that have carried me through decades of dancing, walking, working, serving, and loving. So now when I slip on a pair, it's not vanity, it's gratitude. Gratitude for the legs that still move, still climb, and still show up. And a quiet thank you to the nylon that helps me feel just a little more polished, a little more supported, and a whole lot more me. No elephant legs, no apologies, just timeless grace with a touch of lacquer. So yes, maybe pantyhose are old-fashioned. Maybe they don't trend on the tiki-talkie. But I'll tell you what, fashion does fade. Style is forever. And style isn't about what's in the magazines. It's about what makes you feel like your best self. For me, it's a great pair of shoes and an even greater pair of pantyhose when I am dressed formally. For you, it might be your favorite jeans, a red lipstick, or even those boots that click just right when you walk on the pavement. What matters is this. Wear what honors your story. Wear what reminds you that you are standing, still shining, and still strong. When I walk out the door in my pantyhose, I don't care if the world notices. I do it because I feel polished, powerful, and me. It's not about the nylon. It's about nostalgia, confidence, and a connection to the woman I've become. So here's today's truth. Some things may go out of style, but self-respect never does. Grace never does. And feeling like your best self, that's timeless. Maybe pantyhose aren't for everyone, and that's okay. But may you find your version of pantyhose. That thing that makes you hold your head high, shoulders back, ready to face the world. That's what it means to star strong and shine bold. So to every woman who's ever fought a run, rolled a waistband, or danced the pantyhose shuffle, this one's for you. Long live the pantyhose and the confidence they gave us one leg at a time. Thanks for joining me. If you've got a hilarious or heartwarming pantyhose story, I want to hear it. Send it to me on social media at Coach Rebecca or at StarStrongShineBold.com. I might have to feature your story in a future episode. But until next time, remember, you are timeless. You are enough, and your shine never fades.